It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, here on SABC3. As we have mentioned earlier on, this is our last Friday of 2020, last Friday before Christmas. So we just need to reflect a little bit on some great movies that dropped in 2020.
You're professional, by the way, and always impressive to watch on television. What was the thing you were doing with your hands while we were off camera now? What were you trying to indicate to the studio? She's into martial arts,
JP
guys.
Sebastian.
Was you chasing your demons or something? Like, we're going to learn about your past in these deep movies.
Actually, yes, because we're starting off with 1917, hey?
Yeah, of course. You were in the First World War, weren't you?
I was there, like, watching it through the window and everything.
The window? Okay, you're an interesting person. You've clearly, like, been on Expresso for 3 hours and you need a tip. I want to talk about strong movies that came out this year, and whether this is big screen or streaming, and I'm not going to mention names, you can use your imagination which services I'm referring to, but it was a very thin year for movies. 1917, although it was huge at the Oscars, was only released to most of the world, ourselves included, in 2020. What a good movie. I don't know what that sound was, but I did the hands thing that Kukle did, so you can get how excited I was about it. To use my friend Shukri Adams, after we watched this and we walked out of the cinema, he used all sorts of Cape Townian expletives towards Dunkirk, which was another World War II movie, which was excellent, but paled in comparison to the kind of thing
to this one.
Sam Mendes, what they achieved here, Roger Deakins, the greatest cinematographer we have alive. Pulse racing, adrenaline pumping, like the way I was describing The Quiet Place to a friend the other day, like leaving your ligaments taut. And not just being like a roller coaster that is this amazing one shot, and obviously maybe there are 4 or 6 cuts in between the entire movie, but the whole thing feels like a guy running from point A to B for 2 hours. No breaks in between. It is also deeply just human and emotional. Unbelievable. It's an achievement. It's not a movie. 1917. If you haven't watched it, you need to redo 2020. No one needs to redo 2020. That's a lie.
But you know what? I want you to rate it out of 10.
Oh, that's a 10. I mean,
it's a 10-10.
No, of course.
Wow.
I reviewed
From
this a while
JP
back. I gave it
Sebastian.
11. It decayed a bit. It's back up to 12 now.
I love that. The next one is The Vast of Night.
So now I also want to talk about these tiny, unique ones that no one saw and no one gave the time of day to. And while this isn't necessarily a 10 out of 10, for a director to achieve their own voice the way this kind of movie does, this guy, I can't remember his name offhand, maybe you can look on the notes I left you there, but who cares, is definitely achieving a unique perspective on horror. Maybe not for everyone, because it is a bit of a slow burn. It's like watching a cigarette burn to the tip and then somehow a dynamite stick explodes. Maybe not for you, but the style that this guy brings, this is one of the most stylish things I've seen in a long time. It's a story that should have been done a million times. It should be old hat, UFOs, 50s, Roswell, New Mexico, that kind of thing. Been heard of, but to be able to do that story, which is so generic, and in a way that feels fresh and draws you in. Like the whole time I was leaning closer and closer to the screen, just absorbing the thing. I hope that this guy has a bright future ahead of him. The director whose name I've forgotten, which is just how tiny this movie is. Shame. The Vast of Night is definitely worth a watch and came out in
The Vast of the Night, the director's Andrew Patterson.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, there we go. Look at me.
A World War I veteran and a movie buff.
Out of 10?
A shame. That one would be an 8. But like I said, for its uniqueness, for its strength of a new voice and a new way of talking about. In a way, it does better what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood failed to do. Like just the feeling of story emerging. Like when you're listening to an old person and you're sitting by the fire and you're like, just the feeling of story and not worrying about the details and the twists and the turns.
I love it. Now this one is, I'm thinking of ending things.
It has been a harsh year, but that's the title of the movie. So immediately you have to watch anything that Charlie Kaufman writes. Charlie Kaufman, maybe you'll recognize some of these names. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is the first one that people recognize mostly. Anomalisa was incredible, stop motion animation where he made puppets feel like the most human movie of the year. I'm thinking of Ending Things is more of him interested in the fact that he's able to bend, and he directs us as well as writes, space and time in a way that Christopher Nolan looks like the kiddie splash pool compared to the deep end. His use of physics and the use of how do we visualize memory? What does memory mean? So it's this girl who's dealing with, she's going to go meet the parents with the new guy, but she's thinking of ending things at the same time. And she's dealing with, you have all these creepy, eerie shots, by the way, of a dog repeatedly shaking itself. Toni Collette being creepy as all heck, possibly even creepier than Hereditary.
Oh my gosh.
And it's not a horror. It's not a horror, but Charlie Kaufman...
It's shot like it's a horror.
It feels like it's a horror. He focuses so much as a writer on just the anxieties we feel about new situations, for example, meeting the parents. And the horror of being alive. Being a human is such a difficult thing. And he is so sensitive to teasing out those things that you can see. It gets a bit creepy. Teasing those kinds of things out that are just... yeah, I'm thinking of ending things on a streaming service. You can probably guess which one. Go watch it yourself. Really well with it.
Awesome. Now we're moving on to Emma.
Yes. Big screen release. This is before big time lockdown. Emma will also be, and some of these will have appearance at the Academy Awards next year, which are pushed to April, by the way, as opposed to February as it usually is, given the COVID issue. The issue.
Yay.
Emma is, usually with these period movies, I hate how pretentious and foppish they are. Like, kind of like, I'm so tired of how droog that stuff is. But Emma, as you can see, firstly, the production design, the costumes, immaculate. Wes Anderson, eat my hat. I don't know what a nice enough, kind enough, family-friendly insult to say is. But Wes Anderson's good. Irrespective, Emma by Autumn de Wilde was one of the best movies of the year. And like I said, will appear at the Oscars too. Jane Austen book of the same name. And what it does great, that is so different from a lot of other period pieces, is as opposed to just that irritating, oh, another scone. It makes these people feel very human, and Emma has to come to terms with and does very well. Queen's Gambit, by the way.
Yes.
A lot of people are loving her for that.
Yes.
Anna Taylor-Joy. Yeah, she does an amazing job in this. And
she looks stunning.
Will definitely be nominated. Something that, like I said, is not pretentious and predictable like a lot of these other things that are a similar mold, and actually digs down into the human stuff, but is also hilarious at the top too.
I like that. It gives me Pride and Prejudice vibes when it comes to the picture
Jane
as well.
Etc., etc.
So the last one now is Wolf Walkers.
I have to do this far away from the microphone for the sake of our...
Why? Is it like a baddie?
No, it's so beautiful. Like, after all the, to be honest, the nonsense live-action garbage that Disney heaped on us from Lion King to Aladdin, your kids deserve a palate cleanse. All your children deserve to see Wolf Walkers, guys. And after they watch this, buy them the biggest set of crayons you can and let them write on the walls, and then fuck them if you have to, because I had to put up with that too. But Wolf Walkers is from a tiny Irish studio that previously was Oscar nominated, didn't win because it's Irish. Usually the American animations pip them. Song of the Sea was the first one they did. This one will remind a lot of animation fans of Ponyo on a Cliff by the Sea. Will remind them of Princess Mononoke. Will remind them of Okja. It is the Irish answer to a lot of those Eastern animations, those movies. And it's just this beautiful story of a little girl, ecology trapped in between industrialization and the destruction of the forest. Her finding this other little girl who becomes a playmate who can turn into a wolf, bites her by mistake, and she becomes a wolf as well. Her father, however, is a wolf hunter, so there's the drama of her possibly being killed by her dad. Safe for kids, though, to watch, and one of the most pretty things I've seen in a long, long time. Wolf Walkers will be Oscar nominated, will, however, possibly lose to Soul by Pixar, which is also going to be amazing.
Soul, beautiful.
Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but we'll touch on that a little later on. JP Sebastian, thank you so much for coming through and sharing with us the strongest movies to come out of 2020. Make sure to use this weekend to perhaps watch some of them.
Do some catch-up, yeah.